Hello and welcome to episode one of the ArsePool podcast. I'm your host Danielle, aka North London Gooner. I'm here with my boys, Omar, Man United fan, Red Devil over here. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. And we've got Tambo slash Tamim. How you doing?
All good. Happy to be here, bro.
Um, of course, you are our resident Scouser. So after we discuss yesterday's big match of Arsenal versus Man United, or Man United versus Arsenal, I stand corrected. We'll be discussing Liverpool's opener versus Bournemouth. Um, and of course, last but not least, we have Dog over here. How you doing, bro?
Very good. Thank you for the introduction.
Of course, one day you might identify as a United fan. The other day you might identify as a bit of a West Ham fan. How did you feel about yesterday's match, Dog?
I mean, my allegiances are Premier League fluid, so it goes one way or the other. So it's all good. How do I feel about
Very good.
yesterday's game? Nothing new, man. United getting pasted by Arsenal.
Oh, well, uh, I disagree with the term getting pasted.
Who won the match?
Arsenal did. We
Thank you.
did. But I wasn't happy. Well, I was thrilled with the result, but I wasn't happy with the performance. So I guess we can kind of get into that a little bit now. Thanks to the segue dog. Um, yeah, it was one of those high-paced, really physical matches. I guess in the first minute, Mbomo lands a bit of a strike on Zubimendi, and the referee plays on. Did you see that, Omar?
No, I haven't actually seen the match. I just saw the highlights. So yeah, I'll be sparse on the details. But from what I did read, we were much more physical team compared to the last few years. But both ways, from what I was sort of heard, both ways, both teams were coming at it, and the referee was letting play go on for quite a lot of it.
Mm, yeah, it was interesting because my feeling throughout the match was that we didn't have the rub of the green when it came to certain 50-50 decisions. Like that was a stonewall foul. I know it's the first minute of this high-tempered, fast match, but like in most games, an elbow to the face is a foul regardless. Again, I'm not calling for a red card or anything like that, but yeah, my feeling was the referee should have blew up immediately just to kind of get to grips with the match. And there are a number of instances like that throughout the game that kind of stands out. And I know Calafiori got booked later on the half for again a late tackle or it could have been a pullback. Um, but yeah, instances like that throughout the game where I felt like the referee should have been stronger. Arguably, it could have been even so for the Cunha potential penalty. I mean, Tamim, you referenced that earlier, didn't you? What was your thoughts on that? As somewhat of a neutral here.
Mm, well, I didn't really see it properly. I just literally saw the video pop up. One of those sort of shorts that just popped up really, and yeah, just sent it to you. Just well, a bit more of a trolling, just to sort of just to troll a fellow Arsenal brother. But I don't know. It was a tough one to be honest. I thought it was a foul, but again, I only looked at the clip twice. Um, it looked like he catched his foot, and yeah, I thought it was a penalty, but I didn't watch it live. Like Omar, I only watched the highlights. So yeah, I don't know too much about how the other decisions went, and yeah, the other sort of fouls and stuff. In the actual game, it looked like it seemed like United dominated, but again, I didn't really watch the game. I'm just going by stats and reading bits online. But it looked like Man United played quite a good game apparently. Arsenal maybe not at their best, maybe trying to find their feet. That's what it seemed like to me as a neutral. But a win at Old Trafford, that's pretty solid still, regardless of where United are.
But on the stats that you referenced, United did play a lot better than a lot of people were expecting them to. it is Old Trafford at the end of the day, and Arsenal didn't have the
Yeah.
best of records there. But on the stats, it was 22 shots on goal for United, but only 1.0 XG. So Arsenal produced a similar amount of XG compared to United from that perspective. But 22 shots shows that they were doing something slightly different.
Mm.
Dar, what were your thoughts? Both on refereeing decisions and patterns of play. Did you watch it live?
Yeah, I did watch it live actually, and look, United didn't play too bad. I think you could say they were slightly unlucky. There were some moments where you would have thought, okay, they could have capitalised on it. But I mean, ultimately, a win's a win for Arsenal, right? I suppose a lot of United fans will be slightly disappointed over how Arsenal got the goal. It was ultimately a goalkeeper error. I just hope that the players don't become too demoralised too quickly, because this often happens with United where they show glimpses of brilliance or excitement or, United are back, and then suddenly they get folded over by a team like Bournemouth. But I'm a bit surprised that a lot of Arsenal fans like yourself are being overly critical or don't seem too happy. I mean, if Arsenal are going to win their league this year, they need to kind of take every point they get, even if it comes in the most ugliest of manners, right? That's kind of how Mourinho won his titles. That's kind of what went in Man City's favour all those years. So it's a good day for Arsenal, but with United, it's just one of those cases of, so close, but yet so far. So I do like some of the signs, but as Mr. Munchie there can testify, it's a very temperamental team. 1 minute up, next minute down. So yeah, I wouldn't be too sort of optimistic over the performance.
Munchie, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would take some optimism from there. It was glad to see that we had a bit of a fight in us today, yesterday. I still think there's a long way for us to go. I don't think we're going to be challenging for top four. I mean, the front three looks a lot more with it, but I still think we have a bit of hole in midfield. And I think some of the other teams might be better at exploiting that than Arsenal did yesterday. But I think that was more, they were surprised at how quick we came out of blocks compared to previous games. But yeah, so I think there's optimism there, but still a long way to go before we have
United
serious
back.
play. Yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting. Like, I think United's tactic was essentially to bypass the midfield. I do think they were maybe slightly worried about our power in terms of the likes of Rice and Zubimendi. So they were literally going over the top of Arsenal's press. And I think targeting that left-hand side of Arsenal, like the left fullback position, teams have regularly been targeting that side for Arsenal over the last couple of seasons. Particularly when Calafiori likes to attack and bomb forward, including Miles Lewis-Skelly as well. I think teams have seen that left-back position as a bit of a Achilles heel for us. And obviously, United are playing to their strengths. Like Brian Mbeumo is a quality player. I was very fearful of United attack in particular coming into this match, particularly because all three of your new starting lineup we were linked with. We were linked to Cunha in the January transfer window. We were linked with Mbeumo for a good couple of seasons, and the Sesko Gyökeres kind of narrative background was kind of dominating this sort of discussion, I think. And we really were under the cosh yesterday at certain points. I felt like our goal really settled us. Like you said, it was a goalkeeping error ultimately, but our Arsenal set piece threat has been well known, and there was a new set piece routine there as well, like something that we haven't really seen in the Premier League before, in terms of how Arsenal approach that corner. And Declan Rice, as poor as he was, in my opinion, throughout that match, he really put on a sixpence in terms of like putting Bayern under pressure. Essentially, Calafiori didn't have much to do other than nod it into an empty net. There was a lot of pushing and shoving and like six and halves and a dozen of the other sort of challenges in that penalty box, which kind of raised a few question marks because there was this apparently new directive for the PGMOL that they want to clamp down on this sort of behaviour in the penalty box. But again, I think because Arsenal scored, nothing was made of it. But yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing many penalties or calls for fouls with all these sorts of grabbings and holdings that was going on. So yeah, that's my kind of my take on Arsenal's goal. In that first half, I did feel like there were opportunities for Arsenal to kind of go in behind. And I think Arsenal have adapted their style of play compared to having Kai Havertz up top. Like there does seem to be a bit of a change of emphasis in terms of us being a bit more vertical. And perhaps Mikel Arteta knowing that, okay, we're going with Victor Gyökeres now as our centre forward and trying to move away from using Kai Havertz, essentially. I did feel like we were more of a better defensive outlook once Kai Havertz came on in the second half. Yeah, and again, United were still calling those problems, but it was kind of a weird second half in the sense that once Gyökeres came off and once our two fullbacks came off and Ben White and Calafiori being on that yellow card, Arsenal sort of powered up in a weird sort of way. And once Sesko came on and Ahmad came on, United looked younger in a weird sort of way. Like they looked a lot more less inexperienced. Sesko compared to Gabriel looked like a child in some ways. Like he was getting bullied off the ball a lot. And we looked a lot more mature. We looked a lot more steady defensively once the changes were made. That was kind of my ultimate feeling in terms of how kind of the rest of the game sort of panned out. Does anyone else have any other thoughts on that?
Do you not think you're just overanalyzing a successful outcome? Sorry, Tamim.
No, go
at
for
the end
it.
of the day, you guys got 3 points, man. You won. I get what you're saying. Like, what about this? What about that? But you still managed to hold on to a 1-0 lead at United. If it was the other way around, United would have capitulated. But that's still worthy of praise. Okay, if it was like a 2 or 3-0 lead, then it would be like, okay, nothing special. But 1-0, really, where the game could change, and United were counter-attacking quite a fair bit. I don't know, maybe you're just doing that typical Arsenal thing about, oh, no, we have to re-examine, we're not the best. Oh. Just enjoy it, man. Have some tea, relax. You guys won, you got 3 points. United got 0. They're at the bottom of the pile right now. Sorry, Tamim, you can come in now. I've said my piece.
You done, yeah? No, I'm joking.
I'm done.
But no, I was just a random one actually. On the possession, I was quite surprised to see that Man United had more possession than Arsenal, knowing how Arsenal set up and how possession centric they play, how Arteta's style is, and especially with the addition of Zubimendi to the midfield. What do you think was the reason for that, Daniel? Watching the whole game, what do you reckon it was? Was it a lot of passing around at the back from Man United? Like, because you were saying they tried to bypass the midfield a lot, where they were playing the sort of long balls, perhaps to the right side of the channel. But seeing the possession stats, that indicated to me that perhaps they won the midfield battle. But again, yeah, what are your thoughts on that? You're the one that watched the game.
Again, like United were going vertical and they were creating really difficult transitions. In that first half, Cunha essentially bullied Gabriel and Saliba, and he managed to kind of really tow away whilst Arsenal were pressing forward and get his shot off. Again, he didn't have much power in generating that shot, but it was a very dangerous transition. David Raya made some excellent saves. Like we have him to thank for keeping it 1-0. That was kind of my feeling. And at the end of the day, Arsenal approached it, and I think this is where we should be getting praise for. Like we approached it as the away team. I would be a bit more scathing of Arsenal if this happened at the Emirates. Arsenal approached that game as the away side. This was the first home game in the season. United fans were up for it. The United players were up for it as well. And it's a very difficult ground to come to, and I don't think many teams, based on this front three, will come away with 3 points, particularly at this stage of the season. Like connections are being built, and that's true for both sides. Um, Zubamendi and Rice and Odegaard, like bear in mind that they've only had, I think, one game together, which was against Athletic Bilbao last week. Um, the way Arsenal are trying to approach our attack in terms of trying to play Gyökeres through, and trying to execute on the counter. Like yesterday, it just needed, for example, Saka to finish off in the second half, or Nodi Madueke to kind of finish that second goal. And I think if Arsenal got that second goal, got that killer goal, we would have seen a lot more kind of tiki-taka, a lot more possession-based football. But when there's jeopardy involved and being the away side, I think Arsenal have kind of it's become part of their identity now to kind of bunker in and um, essentially park the bus. I'm not afraid to say it. Like to have that kind of Jose, Ozzy referenced it earlier, that Jose Mourinho mentality into the parking the bus um, and and knowing how to hold on to a victory. And I think that comes down to a couple of seasons ago where we got that 1-0 win against City at home. We got that 0-0 victory. Well, sorry, it wasn't a 0-0 victory. We got that 0-0 at the Etihad. And again, last season as well, we were very, very close to 98 minutes and 30 seconds to go with 10 men at the Etihad to kind of grind out that victory. It's sort of become part of Mikel Arteta's Arsenal now in the last couple of seasons to kind of bunker in and grind out these wins. So yeah, that was kind of my take really. And I think Mikel Arteta kind of referenced maybe some fitness issues. Rice didn't look the same. He came off at 82 minutes. Really, it should have happened maybe 10 minutes earlier. Rice was looking to the bench, like kind of take me off when the first subs were being made. Yeah, that was my feeling. I
I'm
can see
laughing
all the
because
guys
it's one
laughing.
game in and the excuses have started already, man. Pack it in, will you? I'm so sorry. One game in and it's like, oh, look, it's the first game. Arsenal won against quote unquote a big six or big four team. You never know. Those 3 points may be the difference between you guys actually winning something this year. I think based on your luck over the last couple of years, it's always been results like this. So, you know what? Try and embrace the victory, man. Seriously.
All
I
right.
think United would have loved
I'm
to have taken a victory against you guys. You guys have pasted us at Old Trafford over late. That's the reality, It would have been a good confidence booster for us. But yeah.
I'll happily take a dirty
Thank you very much.
win like that
No more
every day of the
excuses,
week.
okay? We're tired of the Arsenal delusion syndrome.
Okay. I think I'm going to take those 3 points with glee. I expect Arsenal Leeds next week to be a bit more entertaining from our perspective. Liverpool Bournemouth, the opening match of the season. Tamim, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings generally of that match?
Happy overall. Yeah, a few concerns. Well, firstly, I think the most important bit was that it was quite an emotional game. It was the first Premier League game, and what happened with obviously Diogo Jota and his brother. That's just been there, right? And it's just horrible, a horrible thing to deal with as like to think of as a supporter, but way more so for like the players I can imagine. I can't imagine. It's just like, a close friend of theirs that's gone, someone that's been there for years, that's been in the dressing room, that been their brother, like in essence, yeah. So like, yeah, seeing the whole, the pre-match display from our supporters and the Bournemouth supporters too, the minute silence, the "You'll Never Walk Alone," especially all of that. Yeah, it hit hard. It was emotional. It was emotional. So that was nice. It's just nice to see that tribute and yeah, just to see them like, paying respect to his memory and everything. So that was good. Yeah, that was nice to see. That was nice to see, and hopefully their family gets some sort of peace from it. Yeah. So that was nice to see. The game itself, yeah, I was very happy with our attack. That was the main thing I was very happy with. Yeah, just the way how fluid our attack looked. Like our passing just looked a bit sharper this like it's only one game, right? But our passing looked a lot sharper well, I don't want to say this season, it's literally just one game, like I said. But yeah, compared to last season's games, Wirtz definitely plays a factor in us playing a bit more fluid, a bit more sharper, a bit more accurate. He didn't get any goals or assists, but I think overall played well. It comes down to the whole, I think, just watching the game with, just watching it with your eye, right? Not just the stats as well, which a lot of people would say, oh, we played 100 mil for Wirtz and doesn't look like he's done much. Again, one game in, but he looked very good. Ekitike looked great. Yeah, I like Ekitike a lot. I think his first touch, his dribbling, he's technically so much better than Nunes. And I miss Nunes. I think Nunes, the chaos man, he had a time and a place, ultimately was not good enough for us, which is a harsh reality of it. As much as I wanted him to succeed, if we're going to keep challenging for those titles, the Champions Leagues, you need a world-class number nine, and he just wasn't that. He wasn't far off, in my opinion. I think he was physically there. He was quick, good in the air, good runs, good timings, etc. Just his finishing ability was poor. Yeah, it just wasn't good enough, and it's one of those that you did always wonder, could you refine that at the level he was at the age he was. So yeah, Ekitike looking much better. Again, it's early days, but I'm very happy just the way Ekitike looks on the ball, and not just the goal he took, but his link-up play, his assist to Gakpo. That was brilliant. Just the composure he did instead of rushing, maybe to try and shoot when he got the ball, just holding off the defender and laying off to Gakpo, who came like around his periphery. So that it's little things like that. I was just really happy to see. It made me even question, like, oh, do we need Isaac? But you're not going to turn down a world-class player like Isaac, and ultimately we still need additions to the attack. We've only got, with all the people that have left, Diaz, yeah, everyone has sort of gone. We're down to sort of four attackers now. We've got only Gakpo, Chiesa, if Chiesa stays fit, Ekitike and Salah. So yeah, we need additions regardless of how happy I am with our attack. But yeah, no, that was nice to see from our attack. Chiesa as well. Yeah, talking about Chiesa, that was great. That was a good goal he took, and I'm really happy for him. I hope he succeeds. It's taken a bit of time, and there are doubts whether he would even be here this season. But at one point he was like Italy's best threat. We're talking about sort of 4 or 5 years ago in the Euros. He was dangerous. Before all of his injuries, he was a great attacker and feared throughout Europe. So if he can regain some of that form, some of that speed, technical ability, then we're in for a fun season with Chiesa. So hopefully he stays, and I want him to succeed. And Salah too. Yeah, it was. I feel like everything with Jota hit Salah the most. You could almost see it in his play, like he seemed a bit disjointed maybe and a bit down and a bit separate from the attack. And although he got his goal at the end, which was great, it was just vintage Salah, just one touch, shifted to the side, weaker foot, bottom corner, just and he could play like rubbish for the whole game and do something like that. That's Salah right now. That's Salah. But yeah, it did look different. He did look different in the game.
Do you,
And
do you
just
think
seeing how emotional he was at the end, that hit a lot as well. Just where he stayed and clapped the fans while the fans sang the Jota song, and how upset he got. Yeah, that was a touching moment. Yeah, it was emotional. But yeah, hopefully, again, it's just I think for us, it's all about how we grieve from this all and how we pick, how the team picks itself up again. Yeah, I think that's key for the next sort of few weeks, few months. I mean, key for the whole season even, but yeah, certainly early days, it's key. And I guess there's also that small moment which I don't want to talk too much about. I don't think yeah, it should be sort of it'll end up making the racist win in my opinion. Obviously, there was that event where there was that disabled fan that made that racist remark to Semenyo. Um, I think yeah, it's one horrible fan, and Semenyo even came
good
out saying how sort of happy he was with the response from Liverpool and the police and everyone around, and
football
how that
community
was
as
not that
well?
important. How, yeah, the game itself, the first Premier League game, the Jota stuff, that was more important. So that was great to see how he wrote that. And, fair play, he was so professional about it and didn't let it phase his game. He scored 2 goals after. So he literally just went straight to the ref, got it sorted and went on with it. And, you can't blame him for being upset, but the way he dealt with it was brilliant. So, yeah, fair play, a lot of respect to Semenyo for, doing his best to keep his composure. But yeah, again, I don't want to let that be the main talking point because otherwise that racist wins. They dealt with it as they should do. So,
And yeah, I
yeah,
100% agree on all of your points actually in terms of the Jota, the emotion behind it. Hopefully the family can move on from, well, remember him in the best possible way, and his legacy will always remain at Liverpool. Um, and yeah, the unsavory incident with that fan as well, like it doesn't represent the people of Liverpool, and should outrightly be condemned. I do want to praise Antoine Semenyo for that amazing second goal, potentially a goal of season
it's
contender.
crazy. It's brilliant.
I know Richardson's got a overhead kick, but it was against
Mm,
Burnley. But to run through that midfield and that defense,
mm,
with Van Dijk going one way, Konate going the other, unable to
mm,
get anywhere close to him, deserves
mm.
a lot of praise. And also, it does raise some question marks about Liverpool's defending
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
general defense going into the season. Like, there's a
yeah,
new
for
outlook, a
sure.
new system here
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Frimpong coming in. I know one of the things I slightly disagreed with in terms of like the emotion of Salah. I kind of saw it last week against Palace in terms of him tucking in a lot more, and Bert's kind of taking on the playmaker role. Whereas last season we saw Salah kind of taking on that
Mm,
playmaker role and being at the end of goals. And we saw once Vert came off, Salah kind of reverting back to type. But that was my feeling.
mm.
Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties that we're having. Yeah, just as I was saying, that those were kind of my thoughts on the match. I saw Slot got a bit of criticism at the end for taking off his fullbacks as well, especially when it was kind of 2-2. But yeah, again, Liverpool's superior
I think it was
attack
that
kind of shone
2-0
through.
they came off, I think, from what I
Yeah, yeah,
remember.
at 2-0 they came off. Yeah, yeah.
2-0, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was one of those as well. I sort of immediately went to WhatsApp, on the group, and I was like, "Well, I don't know if I agree with it. I'm not. Listen, Slot is a genius. I'm not Slot." But I was like, what is going on? Why are we taking our fullbacks off? But Kirkez, he was on a yellow card, to be fair. I think he did well with Semenyo. Everyone was saying he was getting ripped, but ultimately it was 2-0 with Kirkez. And when Robertson came on, it was 2-2. And the goals came from Semenyo. So I think Kirkez did as well as he could. And yeah, he got a yellow card. Fair enough. Was a risk. Probably needed to come off. Frimpong, I'm not too sure about, but maybe there's something about the fitness. It could be fitness issues, stuff that we don't know about that obviously Slot does. So yeah, but Endo, yeah, was not a right back as you could tell in the game. But maybe Slot had no other option but to take Frimpong off.
Yeah, I
Um,
heard there was a hamstring problem with Frimpong.
was it? Okay, fine. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I was a bit concerned about defense, like you sort of raised a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, that a little bit concerning, but I'm not paying too much credence to it because it could be, again, first game of the season. It's the same defense as last year. Yeah, they're a year older, but Van Dijk is Van Dijk. Will he eventually decline? Yeah, for sure. Konate is a solid defender, but that was comical defending on that second goal. Yeah, you're saying what Semenyo was goal of the season. I do partly agree with that, but the defending, made it look better in my opinion. Because I think Van Dijk did nothing wrong. He was tracking the man. He was tracking the runner. He was doing what he did. Konate went the same direction as Van Dijk when he could have gone to the right side instead and either try to block off the runner on the other side or try to at least block Semenyo's shot. So that was terrible from Konate, in my opinion. That was terrible, but great from Semenyo too. Yeah, I think defensively we'll see an improvement with Gravenberch returning to our lineup for sure. He is our most defensive-minded midfielder. Yeah, so I think we'll see an improvement there for sure. Hopefully, with time, as the season goes on and the rust wears off, I'd hope for improvement with Canate. If not, then you got to question, is his head in Madrid? There's that aspect as well. We're linked with Gahey, we've signed Leone, so yeah, we are definitely looking to strengthen our defense anyway, regardless of whether Canate stays or not. But yeah, a little bit concerned about Canate. Not too much about Van Dijk, but obviously, if the season goes on and we see some more clangers, then I'll be more worried for sure. So yeah, early days. That's my opinion on our defense. It's early days. Hopefully not a repeat of Brendan Rodgers' season of all-out attack and conceding a million goals. Hopefully not returning to that. So yeah,
One could hope. One could hope.
yeah, you'd be happy with that. It'd be entertaining, that's for sure. But yeah, so I'm not too worried.
Scott referenced it as well.
Yeah,
I think it was either one of the Chuckle Brothers and Neville and Carragher were asking him,
yeah, yeah.
"Oh, what about this?" And Slot was like,
Oh
"Well,
yeah, Carragher, wasn't it?
you come
Yeah.
to watch Liverpool and you come to get entertained."
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
we did
so
full on sort of admit it almost. Like, I didn't deny that we were like all out attack. So yeah, not too worried about that. I think yeah, as I said with Salah, there's a couple of roles he can play in our team. He's just world class, isn't he? He could be our finisher, he could be our creator. I think even with Wirtz though on the pitch, he will still be a creative role because obviously with Trent leaving, it can't all just fall on Wirtz. McAllister will step up creatively, in my opinion. I think McAllister's definitely got a great creative side to him, but at the same time, he'll be played a bit deeper with Gravenberch because he likes the double pivot. So I think Wirtz will be trusted with a creative role for sure. And I think Salah will as well because of Trent not being there. Frimpong and Salah need to work out the way they're going to play. That looked quite, fresh on the first game. It didn't look quite right, but naturally they're playing together for the first time. So I think with time they'll find a way, and one of those will take the more creative responsibility on the side or share it. I think with Isak coming in, uh, I think Slot will try and play Isak and Ekitike. It'll be a conundrum because Gakpo. I really like Gakpo. I think Gakpo is a great player. Like, not maybe not in the world class sort of level, but he's got great finish on him, great aerially, good work rate. He's got a good cross on him as well, a very good cross on him. So that'll be tough, but I think he'll probably try and play Isak and Ekitike together, in my opinion. So one of them will be on the left, but they'll probably end up almost being like a two strike, two up front, one slightly on the left. So that would mean maybe Salah being a bit more creative while those two are a bit more further forward. And
do you
Wirtz
think so?
also creating.
Do,
Yeah.
can you see both of them in the same side? Because I honestly think I don't think Ekitike gets dropped for Isak. I don't think
You don't think
Slot.
Ekitike gets dropped?
I don't think Slot will be willing to relinquish that much control by having two
Mm,
strikers on the field. Uh,
mm.
that's my feeling. I feel like where Chiesa got those minutes yesterday, it will be Ekitike coming on. Oh, no, yesterday, sorry, Friday
Okay.
rather. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he may try it. He's been experimental a few times before last season, and he kind of hinted at, I don't know, was it before the Bournemouth game? He said that Ekitike can play as he's primarily a number nine, but he can play on the left too. So that's almost hinting that maybe he'll try Ekitike on the left sometimes. I know Isak has played on the left a few times in his career, but someone like Isak you want to put centrally, really. So yeah, I think there might be a bit of rotation maybe between Gakpo and Ekitike if Isak comes in. Chiesa will still get minutes, I think. Yeah, he'll still get minutes. So yeah, it'll be tough. I don't know. It'll be a tough. It's a dilemma, but I mean, it's a good problem to have. But yeah, yeah, I'm hopeful for the season. Early days, got the win. Yeah, just
It's
happy with the win, really.
yeah, so especially with 2-2 8 4 minutes, definitely tough
Yeah, the mentality.
with
Yeah,
all 3 points as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yeah, and credit to Bournemouth for playing their part in what
yeah,
was a
for
really
sure,
entertaining season opener.
for sure.
So obviously for Liverpool next week it is Newcastle away for your boys.
Newcastle, yeah. Oh.
St James
We're away
Park,
with this.
the Alexander Isak derby.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Winner takes all. Winner takes his sack.
let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful Newcastle can get some points off your boys. Um, and hopefully they can leave a few marks on your boys before we face you lot at Anfield, man. It'll be our derby the following
Yeah,
week,
we're
so
soon, aren't we?
it's
We're
setting
soon.
up. It's setting up
Mm.
for a really, really interesting opening start to the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm already kind of getting nervous thinking about Anfield away. But
It'll be a
also,
great game.
yeah, again for us it's Leeds next week, so yeah,
Yeah.
exciting times.
Leeds next.
Um, I think that's a good point to wrap up. Munshi, Dog, any points that you want to wrap up on or say on Liverpool, Bournemouth? If you guys watched it or not?
I don't understand how you guys are still so like whining and complaining. You guys won, man. You guys won both your opening games. Enjoy it, man. What's wrong with you? Why are you making us feel worse?
I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, oh, no, I don't know. We might lose this, we might lose that. Just shut up and enjoy it, man. What's wrong with you? And you that y'all talking like, oh, you're Arsenal, could we do bad? Just shut up and enjoy it, man. You guys won when it mattered. It's fine, isn't it? You didn't lose 4-0 to Brentford on the opening day, did you? Yeah, you didn't lose to Arsenal on the opening day now, did you, innit? But we'll see how you guys are feeling the next couple of weeks. That's when the fun starts. But yeah.
Yeah, Arsenal, Liverpool, Liverpool, Arsenal, Anfield, 2 weeks away.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, big.
I'll be sitting here like Michael Jackson with my popcorn just.
All right, let's leave it there. Thank you to our listeners for sticking with us for this first Arsenal post-match pod of the season. We've got Arsenal Leeds next week, where we'll have some post-match analysis, some banter there from Dog, and yeah, of course that match of Newcastle versus Liverpool. Thank you guys. Have a lovely week, and thank you guys for listening. Thank you very much.